Welcome to St Bede's College, Manchester, and we're here with Fireseed Films, and we're going to be talking today about branding and why it's important to your school and why it's perhaps not what you think it might already be. So first of all, we're going to talk about what a brand is. A brand, first of all, isn't a logo. It isn't the crest that you might see on a school uniform. A brand is the representation of what your school means to people who come across you. And that could be in terms of the way people speak about your school. It could be the visual look and feel of the place. It could be how your students behave in the community. But most importantly, and increasingly, it's the stories that people will hear about your school and about what it does. So why is this important? Well, we live in very, very busy times, and very busy parents and members of the community need to see your school consistently several times before they're going to make any decisions relating to it. Whether that means sending their children to your school, or whether it's a teacher choosing to come and apply for a job at a school in a very tight market. It's really, really important that they get a consistent message and can make deductions over time about what it is that you offer and whether that is right for them and their families. So the first thing is to come up with a set of clear and consistent messages, not a long vision statement that you might have been used to in the past, but just a few statements that everyone in your community can be aware of, can understand, and perhaps most importantly, can understand how what they do contributes to those key messages. The second point is to find stories that back up those key messages. And it's so important, whatever your role is in a school now, that you are looking for those stories, that you're listening out to your community, and that you're asking questions, you're asking people what they experience in your school and what it means to them. The third one, and this is where you could get some advice from Fireseed Films, is to come up with some clear and consistent guidelines for photography and videography. Make it obvious that it's a video or sort of photography from your school, so people aren't getting you confused, that it's all consistent and has the same look and feel. The fourth area is all around creating a style guide for consistent communication, whether it's visual in terms of adverts, or whether it's written in terms of letters and so on. But as well as thinking about fonts and colours and so on that you might use, think about the tone of voice, the style you're going to use. Do you want to come across as a welcoming persona, or do you want to come across as an academic school, for example? That can change a lot about how you communicate. The fifth area relates back to what we were talking right at the beginning of this clip, the visual representation. Most of the time, you're actually in a pretty good place with that, and I find that school logos and so on are fairly consistent with the messages. But sometimes they're not. Sometimes you've moved on, sometimes you need to redesign what your logo looks like, what your crest looks like, or indeed what colours your school's painted in. The final step is to really just make sure that everybody is aware of the importance of the brand and the message, and that they have time to adapt it to their own particular role within your school. So rather than making people learn and robotically parrot a vision statement talking about the future, it's much more important that they can talk about what it means in terms of their own work or in terms of their own job within the school. So at St Bede's here in Manchester, one of the things we get feedback about when people go on open days is that people talk about family, and people talk about the students by their first names, and people are able to talk about the changes that have happened over the time they've been here, and that contributes to the academic success and the wider success that happens at this place. If you'd like more information, please get in touch with marketingadviceforschools.com or via our social media, and definitely get in touch with Fireseed for advice on anything to do with video.